morning. Welcome to Morning Moments. Again, I'm so glad that you took the time to join us today, whatever platform you're looking at this at. I have a special guest from Baton Rouge, Louisiana. She is a speaker, a author, a founder of uh, The Life of a Single Mom. Uh, Jennifer Maggio, I'm so glad to introduce you and bring you to Morning Moments. Good morning, Jennifer.
Well, good morning to you. Thank you for having me.
Well, you're so graciously accepted my invitation. So I got to ask you the big question. I told you a little bit about you, and I looked at your website, and I think you've reached or helped over 750,000 single moms with your ministry, and that's just amazing. But tell me, what do you do and why do you do it?
Well, I get up every morning and I say, what can I do to see no single mom walk alone? And that's really the mission, that's the calling, that's the passion of what can I do practically today that will encourage, equip, empower single mothers to know that they can do it. There'll be a single mom that's listening to us right now that will say, man, I am ready to throw in the towel. And I know that feeling so very well. And so our ministry is really about empowering the church to empower single moms.
Yeah, there sometimes they're just left alone, aren't they? They they just seem like there's no place for them anymore. They were known as a unit, and now they're known. Uh, they're just floundering sometimes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we have right now. We have roughly 20 million single moms in the country, kind of, depending on what data you read. And so we've got this really fast growing population. In fact, from 1950 to 2000, the single parent population doubled. And all indicators are that those numbers will continue to rise. And so here we've got this very fast growing demographic, and many of those mothers are facing seemingly insurmountable obstacles. And we know all the challenges, the poverty, and just really the list kind of goes on and on and on. And so then what do we do as believers on how to serve that family well? And what I found so often is that churches see that there's need. The fatherless epidemic is really the epidemic sweeping this nation and many nations beyond. But what do we do? How do we serve them well? How do we get them into the local church? 2 out of 3 single moms don't go to church anywhere. And so how do we really begin to serve that family so effectively that our love is so contagious that they want to plant, they want to raise up children there. And I know that feeling very well. It was very much my journey as a young single mom and how to get reacclimated to the church that I had been raised in.
Many churches have outreaches for them, not all, and I think
Mhm.
sometimes we could do a better job with our single moms in churches, but many churches have those. But to be able to connect to a community, a small group, a life group that could help them is a real key in getting them strength and getting the support they need.
Well, it's what you're touching on is so important because effective ministry is discipleship and evangelism. And I think churches do a great job, many churches, of the outreach component, the evangelism piece of, hey, let's do a car prep, let's do a Mother's Day tea, let's do a Christmas party. But the one-time event is not enough. There's this misnomer that if we do a one-time event, they're going to automatically plant in the church, and they don't. And so the discipleship piece is, okay, our ministry is going to teach you how do the outreach. We're going to teach you how to do a conference or a Christmas party or whatever. And then we're going to teach you how to do effective ministry. So that's going to be exactly what you're talking about: a Sunday school class, a life group, a connect group, a Bible study on a Friday night. We're going to teach you how to get those women, whether they're young teen moms or whether they're grandmothers parenting alone, or a 40-something mom who's divorced and really found herself a single mom, shockingly so. We're going to teach you how to serve all those moms well. And the other thing I see churches doing very often is they'll do like a 13-week or 12-week or 10-week parenting class. And then they assume that the moms, well, that's it. Well, we've done the divorce recovery program, and so they must be good now. And really what we see effective is long-term ministry, very similar to youth ministry or women's ministry, where it's just an ongoing ministry that people ebb and flow out of based on what their needs are.
You know, God wants us as Christians to be in community. That's part of his goal is to, and he says, forsake not the assembling of the saints together, but that assembling means community. And
Mhm.
there's so much strength in that community and getting that connection. And because of social separating and things that's been going on, that's even caused many of the people who need connection the most to be separated. So it's a time we need to reach out more so than ever.
It is, and I think we got really comfortable in our isolation. And one of the things, so I was a church girl raised in church. My dad was a deacon at the local Baptist church, and was saved when I was 9 years old, and Sunday school, vacation Bible school, revival, all the things, and yet found myself pregnant twice outside of marriage by the time I was 19. Devastating for my family, devastating for me, lots of shame and embarrassment. And I had that strong foundation from a little girl, but I fell away from church for a long time. Found myself living in government housing on food stamps and welfare, just extreme abuse. Really all of the statistics we read, I endured. And so Satan is a master manipulator that convinces you that you don't belong in a local church. And I had been raised there and had my pew there. And so I had been a church girl, and yet he convinced me that I would be judged, that there were nothing but hypocrites there, that I didn't fit in, I didn't belong, they would not welcome me. And so, because he convinced me of that, and really that's what he specialized in, it's coming in to kill the joy and steal your future and hope, then I stayed away for a long time. And so, yeah, of course, COVID and the isolation thereafter really exacerbated a challenge that already existed in a single mom's home.
Yeah, you know, you've shared your heart. That's what I asked you to do. Why do you do it? But the the what do you do? I'd like to share, have you share a little bit more about the what and how people can be involved. I see that you have a university, well, SMU, a single mom university, where you provide classes. And how does that happen? How do people get connected with you? How do they start that connection, even in their own church or local connection group?
Yeah. So there's three main things we do. The first thing and the primary reason we exist is to start single moms ministries in churches. We have about 1,700 ministries around the country with a goal to continue to grow those ministries very rapidly. Certainly in the climate we're in today, where it's really important that the church be active in serving single moms. So we have curriculum and training and all of the things necessary to get the church to do that well. But then the second component of what we do is really empowering and encouraging and educating the single mother directly. So Single Mom University started in 2017 with this really practical goal of getting life skills to moms from those who have already been there and done that. So there's a parenting track, there's a financial education track, and then there's a spiritual and emotional wellness track. And you can log in, there's 170 some odd classes in the platform. So there's not a single mom topic we haven't broached. There's sex and dating, there's co-parenting, there's overcoming abuse. You can't think of something we haven't talked about. And really from a biblical perspective of saying, how do you overcome? How do you do this well? And how do you potentially do it for 20 years if need be? And then the kind of final component of what we do is we do very large conferences and events throughout the US. So our National Single Moms Conference is the biggest conference we do. It's the largest single moms gathering in the nation. We'll be holding it in October of this year. Actually, we're going to bring it back to Baton Rouge this year, which is super exciting for me personally. But we've had moms from all 50 states that have flown in, traveled in. We're even giving, it's a free event, childcare is included, meals are included, and we're even giving travel scholarships away this year to remove every barrier for mama to be planted in that house and watch the glory of God fall. And it is life transformational that weekend. And then we really equip them to go. So it's like, come be part, let's pour into you, and then go and mobilize in your community.
Wow. And they can find that down below, depending on where you're viewing this interview. If you're on Facebook or YouTube, I'm going to put down in the comment section those websites where you can see the events, you can see the material, you can see how to get a hold of Jennifer and her organization to help your local church or local group out in No Single Mom Walks Alone uh, outreach. Uh, Jennifer, any closing thoughts before we go?
Well, I'll just say this. Maybe you're listening and you don't feel like you're impacted by the single mom family. Maybe you're not a single mom. I will say to you that if we have 9 million women in the country that aren't actively attending a church right now, that's not a single mom's problem. That's a body of Christ problem. So it's really something we all need to be mobilized in. And I'll say to you, if you're a single mom that's listening today, I just want to encourage you that you are an overcomer. It does not matter what statistic is written on a sheet of paper. God is in the mountain moving business, and I'm a living testimony of that. And so be encouraged today that you can do this. You got it, Mama.
Thank you so much. Please pass this interview on, whatever uh, venue you're seeing it on. You may know a single mom that needs to hear this interview. Not only tell them about it, pass this interview on to them, put it on your Facebook page, keep passing it on, because I think there are thousands and thousands of people that need to hear this opportunity for them to be strengthened as single moms. Uh, when you're done with this interview today, like I usually do, I want you to take a moment, stop right now, stop what you're doing, and pray for Jennifer. Pray that God would richly bless her, that God would continue to pour his providence and his favor upon her and her organization, and that God would bless her speaking and her writing and everything that she has puts her hands on. And pray for her. She needs your prayer. You need the practice. So pray for her. Jennifer, thank you for joining us for Morning Moments.
Thanks for having me. Enjoyed it.
All right. Thank you. And may God richly bless you and keep coming back to more Morning Moments.